2 Samuel chapter 3. And there was war for a long time between the house of Saul and between the house of David. And the house of David went and strengthened, and the house of Saul went and weakened. And were born to David in Hebron 6 sons, and his firstborn was Amnon, by Ahinoam the Jezreelitess. And the second was Chileab of Abigail the Carmelitess. And the third was Absalom, son of Maacah, daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth was Adonijah, son of Haggith. And the fifth was Shephatiah by Abital. And the sixth was Ithream of Eglah, wife of David. These were born to David in Hebron. And it came to pass, in the war being between the house of Saul and between the house of David, that Abner was holding rule over the house of Saul. And to Saul was a concubine, and the name to her was Rizpah, daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth, son of Saul, said to Abner, "Why is it that you enter to the concubine of my father?" And Abner was enraged exceedingly on account of this word by Ishbosheth. And Abner said to him, "Am I a dog's head, that I executed today mercy with the house of Saul your father, and with his brothers, and with his acquaintances, and did not desert to the house of David, that you seek anxiously about me concerning injustice to a woman today? Thus may God do to Abner, and thus may he add to him, that as the Lord swore by an oath to David, that so I should do the same to him in this day, to remove the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to raise up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan until Beersheba." And Ishbosheth was not able still to answer Abner's utterance, because of fearing him. And Abner sent messengers to David in Hebron, saying, "You ordain a covenant with me, and behold, my hand is with you, to return to you all Israel." And David said, "Well, I shall ordain with you a covenant, except one word I ask from you, saying, You shall not see my face, if you do not lead Michal, daughter of Saul, in your coming to behold my face." And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, son of Saul, saying, "Give back to me my wife Michal, which I took for 100 foreskins of Philistines." And Ishbosheth sent, and took her from her husband, from Phaltiel, son of Laish. And her husband went with her, going and weeping after her unto Behurim. And Abner said to him, "Go, return." And he returned. And the word of Abner came to the elders of Israel, saying, "Yesterday and the third day before you sought David to reign over you, and now act. For the Lord spoke concerning David, saying, By the hand of my bondman David I will deliver my people Israel from out of the hand of the Philistines, and from out of the hand of all his enemies." And Abner spoke in the ears of Benjamin. And Abner went to speak into the ears of David in Hebron, all as much as it pleased in the eyes of Israel, and in the eyes of all the house of Benjamin. And Abner came to David in Hebron, and with him 20 men. And David made a banquet to Abner and the men with him. And Abner said to David, "I will arise indeed, and shall go, and shall gather together all Israel to my master the king. And I will ordain with you a covenant, and you shall reign over all whom your soul desires." And David sent away Abner, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from the expedition, and they brought many spoils with themselves. and Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he went in peace. And Joab and all the military with him came, and they reported to Joab, saying, Abner, son of Ner, comes to David, and he has sent him, and he went forth in peace. And Joab entered to the king and said to him, What is this you did? Behold, Abner came to you, and why have you sent him away, and he has gone forth in peace? Or do you not know the evil of Abner, son of Ner, that he came to deceive you, and to know your entering and your exiting, and to know altogether as much as you do? And Joab went from David, and sent messengers after Abner, and they returned him from the well of Sirah, and David knew not. And Abner returned to Hebron, and Joab turned him from the side of the gate to speak to him, laying in wait. And he struck him there in the flank, and he died for the blood of Asahel his brother. And David heard about these things, and said, I am innocent, and my kingdom before the Lord, and unto the aeon of the blood of Abner son of Ner. Let it arrive upon the head of Joab, and upon all the house of his father. And may there not cease to be from out of the house of Joab one having gonorrhea, and leprous, and holding a stave, and falling by the broadsword, and lacking breads. For Joab and Abishai his brother observed Abner, because he killed Asahel their brother in Gibeon in the battle. And David said to Joab and to all the people with him, Tear your clothes, and gird on sackcloths, and lament before Abner. And King David went behind the bier, and they entombed Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted his voice and wept over the tomb of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, Shall Abner die according to the death of Nabal? Your hands were not tied, nor your feet in shackles. You did not lead as Nabal. You fell in the presence of a son of injustice. And all the people were brought together to weep for him. And all the people came to cause David to eat breads at the wake, still being day. And David swore by an oath, saying, Thus may God do to me, and thus may he add yet more, that until the sun should go down, in no way shall I taste bread, nor anything. And all the people knew, and it was pleasing before them, all as much as the king did in the presence of all the people. And all the people and all Israel knew in that day that the putting to death of Abner son of Ner happened not by the king. And the king said to his servants, Do you not know that a leader and a great one has fallen in this day in Israel? And that I am as a relative today, and one being placed for king. But these men, the sons of Zeruiah, are hard for me. The Lord should recompense to the one doing the wicked things according to his evil.